guys, welcome to Painting Escapes. So today I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this painting. Alright, so let's see what you receive in your kit first. So you might have a bigger canvas or a smaller canvas. I'm going to be painting on this bigger one so that you can see me clearly. But let me tell you, if there is any different step for the smaller canvas, or maybe if you are painting on a bigger than this one, I will let you know as we go. Alright, so let's see what brushes we're going to be using today. Alright, and then you receive your paint in container, something like this. So what I recommend is you to take at least half of your paint out on your paper plate so that it's easy for you to use these paints. Otherwise, what happens especially with the white color is if you are using a dirty brush, and that dirty brush, if you dip it in that cup, that whole color will become that color. Just to avoid that, make sure you take at least half of your paint out on your plate. It will be so much easier for you. Alright, and make sure you also grab a cup of water so that you can clean your brushes here. And this is optional just in case if you need a paper towel. Paper towel is always good. Alright, so can you believe we're only gonna be using like 4 colors here? White, red, black, and yellow. Alright, so let's start painting. Alright, so before we do that, I just want to mention one more thing. In case if you are painting on a bigger canvas, your brush is gonna be bigger. If you are painting on a smaller canvas, your brush is gonna be smaller. Alright, so let's start painting. So first I'm gonna grab my biggest flat brush. Okay, and then I'm just gonna dip my bristles in my water like that. And I'm just wiping it on the edges. Alright, so now, as you can see in the original painting, there is some yellow on this corner right here. So that's what we're going to be working on first. Okay, so here I'm going to take some yellow, just a plain yellow, like that, just a little bit on tip. We don't need to use a whole lot of yellow here. Alright, and then I'm just going to start applying like vertical strokes, left to right like that. Up and down like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna cover about like a 1 palm area. So in case if you are painting on a bigger canvas, you can cover a little bit more than that. If you are painting on a smaller canvas, just cover maybe like 4 to 5 inches. Okay, so all I'm focusing on is covering everything like that. There is no right, no wrong here. If you want really nice and yellow, nice and bright yellow there, you can bring this paint a little bit more down if you want to. And to be honest, like I said, there is no right, no wrong. In case if you don't like anything about this area or any of your painting area, just let it dry and apply whatever color you want to add on top. And that's the best part about using acrylic paint. So I kind of covered almost like a palm area from the top. Just maybe a little bit down here. Okay. Alright, so the best part about this is in case if you feel like I'm going so fast here, just pause the video and start again whenever you are done. And that's the best part, right? You can pause, rewind, whatever you want to do. Alright, so now let's say you are done at least covering yellow on this area. Now, do you see how sharp this line is? Let's break that a little bit. We don't need a sharp line. So here I'm just going to take a tiny bit of more yellow and randomly apply my yellow like that and breaking my straight line. Just going up and down like that. So now as you can see, I don't have a straight line. Alright, so now I'm going to start taking some different color, which is white. But for this part, we don't have to clean our brush, so you don't have to worry about that for now. So here I'm just going to take a little bit of white, and then I'm just going to start applying right here. So I know that I'm using white on a white canvas, so it might be a little bit hard for you to see. But all I'm doing is applying on the yellow area and you will see this is gonna become slightly lighter yellow. Okay, I'm also gonna bring that paint a little bit up on yellow like that, down here, up and down, and that's gonna blend all of these two colors together. And don't worry about blending it a lot, because we gonna be adding one more color there, and you will see the difference on my canvas what we are trying to do. Alright, so now that I'm done with my white, I'm gonna move on to my different color, which is red. So I don't have to clean my brush. Okay, so here I'm gonna take a little bit of red. So this red is super dark, so start taking just a tiny bit of at first, because if you apply a little bit less there, you can always add more on top. But if you apply too much of this red, you're just gonna keep adding more and more white, and it's still gonna be too dark. Okay, just to avoid that, just take tiny bit of red. Alright, and then I'm just gonna start applying my red down here first. I'm not going on my white right now. Okay, just add a little line there. Alright, so now I have this line, and I just have a little bit of paint. I'm not taking any more paint from now, and then I'm gonna work on this top area first. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go up and down on the white area like that. Again, the more you go on this area, it's gonna blend more. So don't be scared if you feel like it's not blending and it's still looking like one color there. Don't worry. Okay, so here I'm just spreading my red on the white and the yellow area like that. And don't worry, we're gonna be adding a little bit more white and the red in a second here, but all we are trying to do is start applying a little bit here and see if you want to add more. We can always go back, right? Okay, just keep going up and down. All the way going up like that, and that's gonna give that nice strikes of the red that I have a little bit left on my brush. Alright, so now all I'm gonna do is cover the bottom area with using just a red color here. And again, I'm not cleaning my brush. So let me tell you one more thing is, touch your canvas. It's a little bit rough canvas, right? Rough surface. So we need to use a little bit of water for this part. It will be so much easier to spread your paint, trust me. Okay, so I'm just gonna dip my bristles in of water. Okay, I'm not cleaning that brush. And then I'm just gonna take a red color, and let's just cover everything on the bottom just like that. Do you see how easily your paint is moving? Use a little bit of water as you go. It's gonna make your painting so much easy. So let's just cover everything on the bottom first, and then we're gonna blend these two colors together later. And don't worry about the brush strokes that you can see here. You don't have to worry about smoothing out that right now, because remember we have to blend these colors anyways, and then we're gonna smooth out all the brush strokes. You need to maybe work a little bit quicker for this part, otherwise this area will dry and it will be kind of a little bit trickier to blend all together. Alright, so now let's start blending this two colors together. So what I'm gonna do for this part is I already have enough red, so I'm not taking too much red here, just maybe like a tiny bit of red on one side of the brush, and then I'm just gonna take some white on the other side. So as you can see, I have more white, less red, and I'm gonna work on this area. Just keep going up and down, applying that diagonal line that I'm calling. Okay, and then let's apply a little bit right here. So I'm just gonna keep going a little bit on my yellow and on my red, and that's gonna blend it all together. And the more you go, it's gonna blend more. So I'm just gonna take more white and tiny bit of red, and I'm gonna work on this area right here. So I don't want to completely hide my yellow, so it's okay if you can see a little bit of yellow on this area. And I want to give you one tip, just in case if you feel like your yellow is dry. What you can do is clean your brush and add some more yellow on top. So this part is only for whose yellow is dry. Okay, so my yellow looks like it's completely dry. So here I'm just gonna clean my brush. So sometimes these bigger brushes are very hard to clean. So what I like to do is just go all the way down in my cup and then move my brush. It will be so much easier to clean your brushes. Alright, so here I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow, and then I'm just going to start applying right here first. And then I'm going to go on my white area right here. Also applying that yellow a little bit right here in the middle of this white area. That's gonna change your color to slightly a little bit of peach shade. And that is what I'm going for here. Like I said earlier, the more you go, it's gonna blend more. So don't be scared how it's look like. Just keep moving your brush up and down and everything's gonna come together. Alright, so now I'm gonna move on to my next part. So in case if you are still working, just pause the video and start again when we are done. Okay, so here I'm just gonna clean my brush, and then we're gonna work on this our bottom area of our painting. So let's clean our brush. Alright, so as you can see in the original painting, this bottom area is all water. So what I'm gonna do is just take a red, and then I'm just gonna, let's say maybe this is the center of my canvas right here. I'm gonna leave about like a finger size from here, and I'm gonna come down, and I'm gonna make a straight line, horizontal line like that there. Doesn't have to be straight, remember that. There is nothing perfect in natures, right? And then I'm just gonna smooth out all of my brush strokes left to right on this area on the bottom. You can maybe use a little bit more paint. If it's not smoothing out, that means it's dry. Alright, so now we are done with our background, so let's take a little break. So now, before you start painting, make sure everything on your canvas is completely dry. Otherwise, you just have to keep adding more and more black wherever we work. Okay, so let's take a little break, and then I'll be back in about like a 10 to 15 minutes after everything's dry. Alright, so I'm back. My painting is nice and dry, so now we can move on to the next part, which is adding some hills, some mountains. So let's do that. So for that, I'm gonna use my small brush. So make sure you leave your big brush in your water, otherwise it's gonna dry, or you can clean your brush. Okay, and I'm just gonna wet my bristles here, and then I'm gonna start adding little hill down here. Okay, so let's do that. So for that, I'm just going to be using just a plain black. So here I'm just going to take a little bit of black paint. Okay, and then let's say I'm going to leave just about like a couple inches from the bottom. And then I'm going to make a little dot like right here. And I'm going to start my heel from here. So making curve up and then down and then up again. Alright, and then I'm just gonna take some more black, and all I'm gonna do is cover everything on the bottom. Alright, so now that I'm done with my bottom area, there are a couple mountains right here. So that's what I'm gonna add now. So I'm using same brush, same color. And then first I'm gonna add one line. Again, there is nothing perfect in nature, right? We don't need to create any perfect line here. Okay, so here I'm just using for the whole time just the tip of my brush. And then I'm just gonna add a line. As you can see, it's not a straight line. Remember, we don't need any straight line. Okay, and after you add this, I'm just gonna add like a couple mountains. So there is one tiny one right here. And then the second is small one, maybe again right here. And then I'm just gonna fill everything inside. This is completely up to you, how big, how small you want your mountain. Alright, so now we're gonna start adding some cattles. So for that, again, I'm still using my same brush, same color. Alright, so there is a trick for this part. So after I take some paint, I'm just gonna take a little glob of paint, putting on side of my plate like this, and then I'm just gonna take like a couple drops of water. This is gonna give a nice sharp line. Okay, so here I'm just gonna take like a couple drops of water in my paint, and then I'm gonna mix it all together. Make sure you mix it all together nicely, and this is gonna give you that nice sharp line. We don't need a thin line, I'm talking about the sharp line. Alright, so now let's say I'm gonna add like about 4 of them, in case if you are painting on a bigger canvas. If you have more space, go for it, add more. If you're painting on a smaller canvas, if you have less space, just add maybe a couple there. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna leave maybe about like a half finger space from this side, and then maybe about like a finger size from the top, and then I'm just gonna add like oval shape like that. And then I'm just gonna fill everything inside. And after you add this shape, I'm just gonna add like a tiny little line on the top, on the tip, so something like this, just a tiny bit of a small line. Doesn't have to be too perfect. Alright, so just because we use a little bit of water, my stamp line is my stamp's gonna be nice and sharp. So, and you don't have to go too many times on that line. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for the whole time, I'm just gonna be using my tip of my brush, and then I'm just gonna add a little line like that. Now we don't need a so thin line here, so I'm just gonna go back one more time and make it nice and thicker. Alright, so let's repeat the same thing. Add as many as much space you have there. I have enough space for 3 more here. Now you don't have to add completely straight here. You can add maybe a little bit of like facing on the other side, something like that. And I'm trying to make smaller as I go, as I add more. Alright, so after you do that, now we're gonna start adding some other grass around. So again, make sure you take a little bit of paint on the side and then take a little bit of water with it, and it will be so much easier to apply your paint then. Alright, and then I'm gonna start adding some grass from the bottom, starting from bottom, bringing my paint up. Again, I'm just using just a tip for the whole time when I add this. You don't have to add a straight line, you can just maybe make a cross like that. Okay, and then I'm also gonna add some kind of a branches coming out of this stem that I have for the kettles. Alright, so now I'm gonna start adding some birds. So for that, I'm just gonna be using just a tip for the whole time, and I'm using that same brush. So just take like a tiny bit of paint, and then you can also use your palm and just put it on your canvas if it's easier for you. And all I'm gonna do is add a little shape of V. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna add a big one right here, and there's my V. Isn't it easy? So as you go and add more your bird, make sure you take a little bit of paint, and then you don't have to take too much paint here for this part, otherwise you will have a nice big bird. Okay, you can add as many as you want. In case if you are getting fuzzier line, just take a little bit of water, mix it all together. In case if you feel like you have too much paint, just clean your brush and just start taking just a little bit of paint on tip, and then start adding your birds. Okay, if you want small bird, just add like tiny small little V. But I'm gonna add a nice and big here. Okay, for me it's very hard to stop, so if you're like me, it's okay, more birds better, right? Okay, just maybe one last here. Alright, so that's all I'm gonna do with my bird. Now take your time. If you're still working, we only have one last thing to do with the white, just to highlight some of the area. Okay, so alright, so now here I clean my brush, so make sure you clean your brush. And then I'm gonna take some white paint. Alright, so first I'm gonna go on my water area. So just taking a little bit of white here, and then just randomly adding like this kind of a small line. It's okay, you can overlap your stamp a little bit. Just some line, not going everywhere. Alright, and then I'm just gonna take some more white, just a little bit white, and then I'm gonna go on this area, just on the left side, and just adding one line here. Okay, for this part, just in case if you want to let your black dry and then go over it, that's okay. This area is still wet, but I can just keep going on this area. And also gonna go on some of these branches that I have. And also on this bigger grass on the ground. You don't have to completely follow your line. As long as it gives a little white area there, you are good. Alright, and just one more thing is I'm gonna take a tiny bit of black here, and I'm just gonna cover this grass area on this area right here. So I'm just applying a little bit of black. You can use a big or small, whichever brush you want to. Okay, and then I'm gonna apply some white there. So I'm using small brush for this part, and then just adding like a couple lines, one there, maybe one right here. And here I'm all done with my painting. Alright, so here we are all done with this painting. I hope you guys enjoy painting with me, and if you want to paint with me again, make sure you clean both of your brushes in a dish soap water so that you can use these brushes again if you want to. Alright, so and again, thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure you take some pictures, upload it on your social media, and just tag us. You might get a chance to win some of our free kit that we offer. Alright, so thank you so much guys for painting with me. I will see you next time whenever we paint again. Okay? To make sure next time you paint with us, you have a great experience, clean your brushes with the dish soap and put your easel in a safe place. To share your experience with us, take a picture of yourself and your masterpiece and just post it on social media and just hashtag the below. Thanks and have a great day. Bye.